In today's video, we're going to be taking the bike for its maiden voyage. I had to sort out a few things before that, but this will be the first time this thing has been on the road. I'll explain more. I came out this morning still a little disgusted, trying to figure out what to do about my carburetors and the need to pull them back out again. And I started digging in a little bit to where the fuel was leaking from. And the first thing I discovered was that one of my filters was cracked. And so it had a crack right in it, so it was kind of pouring out whenever the fuel was on, which is not a good thing. I think that's from being moved and pushed and everything else. So I had installed it. It was brand new, along with the other one that's in there, and which makes me suspicious of that one now. And I dug around in my stuff, and I had this huge filter, which I stuck in here with a long hose just to make it work, and it doesn't leak from there anymore. But it was still leaking, and so I started digging in to look and see. And typically what you'll get is that when a carburetor is flooding, it floods from here. I went ahead and pulled the bowl off and checked the float level, and it was perfect, exactly where it needed to be, and it was shutting the flow of fuel on and off when I moved it up and down. I just took these, I have Allen's in here, so I was able to remove that bowl. And as I was messing with it, I noticed that this drain screw was loose, and I remembered that I had taken all of those off when I was working on it, and when I was rebuilding the carburetors, and I had not tightened any of them, and so there was a couple of them that were leaking and a couple that weren't. I went ahead and tightened those up and thought, problem solved, you know. So then I tilted it over on its side stand, and fuel comes pouring out, and I don't know where it's coming from. So as I look, my theory is that when I did take this bowl off, I noticed that the gasket that goes between these two surfaces, it sits inside of a groove in there, and I noticed that it was bigger than it needed to be. So I think the gasket has absorbed fuel and has gotten longer, and as a result, it tends to stick out unless you exactly make sure it's in there correctly. So that's what I believe is happening with the number two, and it might be happening with a bunch of them, and so I might have to just get all new gaskets. And it'll be a real pain to pull them in the bike, but that's the way I think I'm going to try to do it, because I just really don't want to take those carburetors out again. To do that, I always have to take out the air box and all the guts from the air box and all the securing and fasteners that allow this to move back 3/4 of an inch or half an inch, that then give me enough room to pull these rubbers out, which then I can tilt the carburetor down and get it out. I don't want to do that anymore. My fingers are traumatized by that, and I've done it enough times, so I won't be doing that, I don't think. But I don't know. I'm afraid to say anything. So that's it. We're gonna go take it for a spin, and then we'll come back. All right, I'm taking her out for her maiden voyage. I don't think I can do the camera and the phone. I mean, the camera and the controls at the same time, but we'll give it a shot and see what happens. I'm happy. That's running really well. I think I'm gonna have to do a few things. For instance, I have not done. I've set the static timing, but not the dynamic timing, which is the when it's running. using a light. I've synchronized the carburetors on the bench, but I have not synchronized them with the engine running, with a tool, and that's something I'll have to do. But I'm going to have to order a tool because I left the last one that I had at a house that I used to live at, and I can't get it back. So those are two things I still need to do. It's actually still running the original spark plugs that were in it when I got it. So I've got a set to put in it. I just need to do that. Let's do a quick walk around. All right, so a quick rundown of the things I've done to my CB550k is I have done both fork seals. I have put a new front tire on it. I have put steering head bearings in it. I've rebuilt, I don't know how many sets of carburetors to get them to run. I have replaced the entire top end, honed it, new rings. It was seized when I got it, so it was kind of just a lump. The engine had gotten dirt in it, and so I was really concerned about it had been opened by somebody else, and it had just collected dirt over a period of time, and so that made it even worse. So I did flush everything out, took the oil pan off, resealed the bottom of the pan. I made up these side covers just because you got to worry about cosmetics, obviously, before you even get a bike running. And they're actually using the emblems from the CB550k on some aftermarket side covers for a CB550F. I like the way they look better. I don't like the design of the others. A new rear tire, swap meet seat, which I still have a little bit of work to do here. It's not, I've got to do something to get the lock working, and then I need the piece that goes down into the lock, and I need the pin that goes in here. I just got something that would fit and put it in there, but I need something that won't fall out. I notice when it idles, it kind of tends to want to walk out. It's running the factory air cleaner. I put some turn signals on it. It needs, it's got actually this is one of those Chinese brake master cylinders. It needs, what else did I do? Actually, I should be talking about what I did, not what it needs. But it does need mirrors, which it will need for it to be on the road. And I did change this switch off of a parts bike that I had, only because the old one was missing this little button, and I didn't have anything small enough to free that up, so I just changed it out. I did put new handlebars on it. They're lower, and they're kind of like super bike bars, and then I just ran the wires on the outside rather than inside the way the factory does. So that's a quick summary of what I've done to the bike, and I'm excited that I'm finally seeing the payoff. I still would like some 4-into-1 pipes. A lot of people say, keep the old look, that it looks good, just like the rubbers over the fork gators. And so I'm debating that, but I'm super excited. I'm happy. The bike is almost where it needs to be. I have a feeling it's going to be a project for a good chunk of the rest of my life. But I appreciate that you guys are watching this, and thank you for joining and being here to laugh at me when I make these screw ups, and knowing that it's okay to screw up, that you can fix it, and that you just have to not let it get to you, and not just throw it on Marketplace and be done with it, and let somebody else finish it and be done with and have a good bike. So I love this thing. It's a good looking, attractive, macho kind of middleweight bike. It's not heavy. I'm not a tall guy, and so I can put both feet on the ground, and I plan to put some miles on it on the road. For a while now, though, for a little while, I think I'll just be driving it, 5 miles at a time until I can develop some confidence in it that it's not gonna, just crap out on me. It does, it does need to be broken in, and I probably was, hitting it a little bit hard on the ride. But anyway, thank you for joining, and I'll look forward to giving you more content as we move forward.